Hi, welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to talk about my cost of living in Bangkok, having lived here for the past 5 years as an expat. I am going to go through a monthly expense with you and to basically show you what are the things that I do, my lifestyle, my choices from an intentional point of view so that you understand the costs but also the intention behind it and the reasoning behind why I do these certain things. For context, I am somebody that doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, doesn't party, very rarely parties. And these are the expenses that are not going to be talked about in the categories today. I am going to take the expenses of the last 1 year and average it out so that you get a good rough rounding of the living expenses for each category. So the first category I'm going to go through is housing and utilities. The first expense that I have on the list is my biggest expense. It is rent. It will probably be everyone's biggest expense too. Rent has been climbing for quite a bit in Bangkok in the recent years, and my expense for the condo that I'm living right now is 21.5k Thai baht. Now, it does seem a little bit excessive, and I will say that it is quite a large expense for me. But at the same time, I do have to kind of put things into perspective with other places around Bangkok right now, where a 1-bedroom condo could easily cost roughly around 15 to 18k, depending on the place you live, depending on what amenities are around the place that you live in, what are the type of facilities that the condo has, so nice gyms, nice co-working places, nice security, and other amenities around. And even, the type of developer that is building the condo could also factor in as well. Now, 21.5k in perspective is still a lot of money, but one thing that I've started to understand from moving from a smaller condo, which I was paying, I think it was during COVID time too. Rental prices were a lot cheaper, and I was paying, I think 8.5k to 9k per month for a 30 square meter apartment. Not too far from where I'm living right now. Right now I live in Onyut area, and this is also still not the most expensive, but also not the most cheap place to stay in Bangkok. And one thing I did notice was that my quality of life has increased so much from living in this larger space, where not only do I feel that I can create my own space where I belong and make it a home away from home, but also the other things about being able to invite friends, being able to do potluck dinners or hangouts, being able to invite friends over to hang out and to play music and to share stories and to hang out. Being able to bring my parents over here without renting another room or letting them stay in a sterile hotel. The commute cost plus the living cost is going to be more expensive nonetheless. So honestly, I've been able to create so many more memories in this house, and I feel that finally, maybe from a few months to a year of moving into this place, I started feeling more at home. I started feeling that this is actually my home. So it is a huge expense, but I do justify it with these quality of life improvements. Okay, second, that comes with the condo, water. Water bill is almost negligible. I don't pay anything more than 50 to maybe 100 baht per month. And this is at a time where I am using, a shower multiple times a day. I use the washing machine. I water my plants. Nothing much to say here. Next, electricity. Now, electricity is a little bit more of a mixed bag. It depends on the months and depends on my usage of appliances and usage of especially the AC. Most of the time, the months around April, May, June are my highest months. And I do remember recording roughly around 1,500 to 2,000 in those months, whereas every other month is roughly around 1,000, 1,100, maybe 1,300. So I am just going to take the average of all of those months and say roughly 1,200, or let's say on the higher end, 1,300 per month. Internet, I have the internet provider already installed in this home. The owner provides it. I don't need to do any contracting with any of the internet companies here, which is great for me. I don't like getting into contracts. So yes, the internet for this house is 321 baht. Phone plan. I am on AIS, and I have one of those plans that they give to their loyal customers. Or I am roughly having, I believe it's 20 gigs per month for data, and I can use their AIS unlimited Wi-Fi when there's any hotspots in the city. So honestly, I feel like that is a good purchase. It allows for me to be a little bit more flexible with how I use my data, and if I'm roaming around and if I actually have to maybe download like big files or upload a lot of things, if I'm doing more content creation or backups and whatnot, then I can use the Wi-Fi in some of these public areas, or I can use the data when I'm out and about and I still need to use certain things. The second category I'm going to go through is my daily expenses. Now, with food, I do understand that cooking is going to be a lot cheaper and more economical in this case, although I balance that with time and why I want to use my time for the things that I want to do more than the cooking. Cooking doesn't generally bring me that much joy and I am not great at it, so I just choose to buy from a shop nearby or go to a food court or eat at restaurants. Although one thing that I have started to change in the way that I go out to eat is I am going more to local restaurants, going more to local vendors on the sidewalk, and basically spending 70 to 100 baht per meal. So within last month I spent 12,000 on food and beverages. This is a mixture of going to restaurants as well as eating out in these smaller vendors and smaller food shops. I do have to point out that I have made a shift from doing too many orders and deliveries. I do have to put some perspective that I am doing less deliveries because I started to understand that the foods that you would rather buy, roughly the 70 and 80 baht types of foods that you would normally eat, cost around 100 or 120 on these delivery apps, and you're paying the delivery fee on top of that. So based on how much you want it to be delivered, plus the surge in prices when there's a lot of deliveries in the place or when it starts to rain, it really doesn't make sense unless you are looking to have this for convenience. So I've just started to go a little bit out of my way to go to the nearest food court or go to the nearest vendor to buy my food. And this has really reduced my food expenses for each month. Next, groceries. Groceries is also an interesting one because depending on the type of market that you're going to, you might be buying more local food or you might be buying more import type of food. When I say groceries, I'm talking more on fruits and vegetables and the snacks and whatever that I use, that I buy, that are not part of my food expense. And I usually go to Lotus, that's super near to where I live, and it is a good mix of local and import foods, although I start to realize that I'm buying more local rather than import. And it's easy to do that because the quality is really good. Fruits and vegetables are really good as well, fresh and whatnot. I do notice that if you are going to places like Gourmet Market, Tops, what are the other ones? Maybe Villa Market, you are going to be spending more. There are better foods, maybe from import materials, import quality, but honestly, I don't need those. So I'm gonna stick to that. And I spend roughly around 1,700 to 2,000 on groceries. Transportation. Transportation for me includes both the taxis, the bikes, the buses, and trains. My most used mode of transport is either the BTS, the MRT, or the bikes or the taxis. I rarely ever use buses because they are running on the road network, and Bangkok's traffic is something to behold. It is yeah, you'll be there for a while. So unless you do know that the routes are a little bit more free and empty, I typically don't use buses. I use bikes because they're super quick to go around the city, quite mobile. BTS is a quick and easy way to get around the city. The network is expanding quite rapidly. The prices are around 47 to 62 for going many stations, and it progressively increases to the maximum of 47 to 62 baht. MRT is also roughly around there, roughly around the same price. I spend roughly 2,300 to 2,500 for my transportation costs. The third category I'm going to go through is my intentional living and lifestyle expenses. And this is one of my favorite categories. So the first thing I'm going to go through is the lifestyle expenses that I have. Number one, gym. I recently started going to the gym on a subscription. I paid a monthly subscription for around 1,700 baht. The gym that I'm currently going to is 24/7 Fitness, and this gym, it's pretty bare bones, doesn't have a lot of facilities and whatnot, but it has the essentials. It has classes, it has your weightlifting areas, your gym equipment, and all of the things that you would possibly need to have a healthy lifestyle. And you can go 24/7 as well, as the name suggests. So for me, that is all right. I don't need fancy equipment. I don't need the fanciest things. 1,700 done. I'm including gym into my regimen because I realized that I do go to badminton quite a lot, and I do play badminton as more like a social plus hobby. But one thing that I noticed was I don't have any strength training in my lifestyle. So I do want to also become stronger. I do want to become more healthier in that way, to make sure that obviously I am voting to a healthier lifestyle, essentially. So leading to that, badminton. Now, badminton is slightly variable in the expenses because it depends on how many times I go per week. I try to go twice a week, but it's sometimes not as regular, depending on whether there are games, whether there are enough spots, whether there are enough training slots as well. So training, roughly I pay around 350. And for games, usually if I play 3 to 4 games, it's roughly 250 to 300 baht per game. So the expenses that I recorded for last month, which I'm gonna take into consideration now, is roughly 2,000 baht. Next, massages. I love massages here in Thailand. They're very affordable. There are a lot of places that provide really good quality massages for not a lot of money as well. And this is my self-care. I spend roughly 2,000 baht on massages. I do love a good Thai massage. I like their neck, shoulder, and back massages and their oil massages. Really something that I look forward to in the week, and something that I also allocate my budget to. Haircuts. I don't go to the chain haircut places. I go to my local barber in the neighborhood. I pay 180 baht. Sometimes if I want to be a little bit more fancy, I get a haircut and a shampoo, and that costs roughly 250. So I don't also need to do that every month, but I will put that as an expense anyway, 250 baht for a haircut. Last on this list for home services. Now, home services or things that I buy for the home, sometimes I need to replace certain things. I need to buy certain equipment to replace, or I would just spend it on cleaning to have somebody come and deep clean the house. So that one, the expense is 500 baht per month. Last category is subscriptions and entertainment. This I feel like varies quite wildly because it really depends on where I'm in my life and what are the kinds of subscriptions and things that I use. Right now, I am more in the skills building phase. I want to upskill, I want to be more intentional, and I want to reduce all the subscriptions and bundle them up as much as I can. So right now, my first subscription is going to be Spotify. I like my music. I like Spotify because I can listen to it on all devices and cast them onto my speakers too. So Spotify, I am spending 129 baht. And especially if you're in the Thai region, I think it is cheaper than being in other regions too. Next, VPN. I use ExpressVPN. It is pricier than other VPNs, although I noticed that the quality or the speed of the network is a lot faster on ExpressVPN than any other service that I've used before. And the reason I use a VPN is because there are services or things that I want to either watch or access that I cannot otherwise do without a VPN. So having a VPN solves that problem. And I'm also able to make sure that my connection is secure and not pried on by other eyes. Next, Udemy. I recently subscribed to Udemy because I wanted to upskill. I am taking courses on data analytics and data visualization. My career is roughly in sales, but I am starting to go into MarTech and data and whatnot. So I want to get into that field of being a data analyst or a data specialist that's able to manipulate data, to analyze data, and to make decision making from large data sets. It's something that I'm interested to do, and I have started to do that with Udemy for 440 baht per month. Next, this is a plugin that I've used for more than 5 years. They are not sponsoring this video, but I am going to be letting them have their spotlight anyway because I really love it. SimplifyGmail. It's a plugin for Gmail that basically simplifies the interface of Gmail. As much as Google is this huge company with a lot of resources, a lot of products, and a lot of people working on really amazing things, their Gmail interface is so cluttered and so bizarre. I don't like it. I don't know why they haven't simplified this for the longest time. So I was skeptical in using this plugin initially because there was no way for me to trial it. So I just had to buy it for the first few months. And it has been a life-changing experience, honestly, because the focus I have with this plugin versus not having this plugin is just day and night. It just takes out so many elements out of the interface and makes it such a welcoming experience to see your emails. And this is how I've started to be able to declutter my email, make sure that I have proper filters, make sure that I have proper rules set and so on. So it's just become a positive experience for me to have this expense. I believe it's a $2 to $3 per person per month. So I pay roughly 100 baht per month for this. Lastly, entertainment. Entertainment again varies widely. My entertainment is usually either going to ticketed events, going to movies, or any other activity that is outside of the things that I currently do. For this, I have budgeted 1,000. I don't usually spend 1,000 because I am focused on more upskilling and health related activities like badminton and gym, but the expenses that I usually record in this would be roughly around 500 to 1,000 baht per month. So that makes up all of the expenses that I have. There are going to be bits and ends that I did not include, which might be more in some months and less in some months, but the total expense that I have is roughly between 47k to 50,000 per month. So to conclude this video, I do acknowledge that the price of things and the cost of living in Bangkok has risen quite considerably within the past 5 years that I've been here. I do remember that I was able to live on a 30 to 40k budget initially during the times that I was here. Obviously, because I was having a smaller room and because of the smaller expense, I believe I would still be able to live that lifestyle if I had a smaller room. Although the reality of living in Bangkok right now with a condo that's near an MRT, near amenities, has good facilities and so on, has considerably changed, and it is not cheap anymore. As many influencers will tell you, would it be able to live on a $1,000 budget or a $2,000 budget or whatever? Really depends on your lifestyle and your choices. And if you're not intentional with your choices, if you are going to be frivolously spending, if you're not frugal enough, if you're not counting your money, then yes, it is going to be very easy to spend more than $1,000 to $2,000 per month on your normal day-to-day living. The good thing is that Bangkok gives you the choice of being able to live a more frugal life or a more frivolous life or an extravagant life. It really depends on you what kind of option you want to choose. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned something useful, and I hope you have a perspective into what things cost and the cost of living for somebody like me living in Bangkok as an expat. Thank you again. If you like this video, give it a like, subscribe, and share it to somebody that might need this too. And hope to see you in the next video. See ya. Bye.